Welcome to a special episode of Tricks of the Trademark with me, Erik Pelton. On this special episode, we're celebrating our 25th year as a boutique trademark law firm with 25 special episodes featuring 25 tips. There are many things to look out for when dealing with an office action and a response to it from the USPTO for a trademark application. I want to share 25 of the top things. First, deadline. Very important. You got to know when the deadline is. It's generally going to be 3 months from the time the office action was issued. The rules that govern what you can and cannot do related to the office action response are in the Trademark Manual of Examining Procedure. Speaking of procedure, it's also important to know the procedures related to how an application and an office action goes through the long and winding road of trademark registration. Also important to know about the proper USPTO forms, where to find them, how to use them, the filing system called TEAS. Also important to know about the difference between a first office action and a final office action and the responses to them. Very important to know about the options and when they might apply for appealing to the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board. Also useful to know about the difference between an appeal and a request for reconsideration. Of course, in building a substantive response, it's going to be very important to know about the relevant cases and laws that apply, like the DuPont factors. Important to know about what types of research and where to do research that might help you build a great response. Also, of course, valuable to know about how to use evidence to support your response and how to properly attach and make of record this evidence. I can tell you I've seen many times when an applicant has gone through the process of responding and tried to use evidence but not done it properly. Speaking of evidence, there's a specific type of evidence called third-party evidence, and it's valuable to know about what that is and when it can be helpful, and of course valuable to know about how and where to find such third-party evidence and third-party registrations. Also, something I've talked about in some of my courses about office action responses is the writing style and being persuasive in writing that response. Of course, I recommend working with an attorney. That would be one of the key tips in an office action response. And counterintuitive, sometimes going slower is better. Sometimes being quick to respond may actually limit some of your options in the chess match that can be getting your application through the registration process. Sometimes seeking consent from another party is a helpful part of the process, but you need to know when and why and how. Sometimes petitioning to cancel a registration that's blocking an application can be helpful, but again, need to know how and when and why. Sometimes claiming acquired distinctiveness can be helpful in the application process. You need to know when and why and how that might apply. Another tip is knowing when it might be useful to contact the USPTO examiner to discuss the issues and how and where to contact them. Knowing how to use the public records to your advantage to find other examples of comparable situations can be very helpful. Knowing how to use the public records to find the application or prosecution history for a cited registration can be very helpful, and knowing how to do that can be critical. Finally, another contrarian tip, there might be instances when no response is the best response because everything you say in the application process is going into the public records. So, all of this is to say there is a lot that goes into office action responses. I've taught courses that are many hours long about it because it's so complex and there's so much information, but hopefully you got the gist of some of the most important information. You've just listened to another episode of Tricks of the Trademark with me, Erik Pelton. For lots more episodes, videos, content, links, blog posts, and more, visit our website at www.ericpelton.com.